Welcome back to the Mikey Z TV podcast. I'm Mikey Z. Today I'm speaking with Nate Walker, owner of Lost Dutchman Leather and creator of handcrafted leather goods. We discuss entrepreneurship and being dedicated to his craft, a hobby that turned into his full-time career. It's a great episode and I think you'll enjoy it. Before we get into that conversation, if you like this podcast, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, follow on Anchor and Spotify, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube. Let me know what questions you have for me and what questions you'd like me to ask my guests. Doing this helps spread the word about the podcast and helps me keep putting out new episodes every week. For show notes and any additional links mentioned in episodes, visit mikeyz.com for more information. Now, without further ado, please enjoy my conversation with Nate Walker. This is episode 2 of the Mikey Z TV podcast. Enjoy. So I will just jump right into it, my friend. Welcome. Thank you for coming on the podcast, man. You're one of my first episodes, so this is super exciting.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. I had been actually wanting to be on a podcast for a while, for whatever reason.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts basically all day in the shop.
Right.
So I've been like, man, I almost actually, before you reached out, I almost posted on Instagram, was like, does anybody have a podcast I can be on?
Right.
Because I just wanted to.
And serendipitous, here I am.
And there you are.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's how the world works lately, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is cool by me.
For sure.
So Nate Walker of Lost Dutchman Leather out of Mesa, Arizona. Mm-hmm. You're 22 years old?
Yes, sir.
22, started doing leather when you were 13, if I read correctly.
Yeah, yep.
What got you into that?
So my first exposure to leather craft was... me and my family went to a big craft fair, like a trade type market type thing.
Gotcha.
And there was an older guy there that was doing leather work. He did a lot of like purses and dog collars and just stuff like that. And I'd kind of been looking for a hobby, something to do, you know?
Right.
Because my brother and my dad both did woodwork, kind of just as a hobby. And I'd been like, well, I don't want to just do the same thing as them. I want to do something a little different, but I needed something to do.
Right.
So I saw that and that kind of sparked my interest. And then from there, I saved up and I bought a starter kit from a Tandy Leather, which is a leather chain.
Right.
There's a lot of locations. But so I bought a kit and just kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it as a hobby through my teen years. I didn't sell a lot. I sold more just to friends and family, but I didn't have an online website or any sort of platform online at all. So it was just through like friends and family, people I knew. And then I launched the Etsy store. Let's see, must have been 17 when I launched the Etsy store, and then it just kind of took off.
From there. That's awesome. Yeah. I think I did a little bit of probing on your website. You're on Shopify now.
Yes.
Do you like that platform better than what Etsy was providing you?
Yeah. Etsy was great in the beginning because you can set up your shop in literally 5 minutes. As long as you have pictures done, you go on there, you put your pictures, write a description, and boom, you're open for business.
Right.
And they do drive a lot of traffic to your store that would be hard to find if you were just putting yourself out there with no idea of marketing or anything.
Sure.
And it's a good niche. You know, when people are on there, they're looking for something that's handmade.
Right.
So it's good in that respect. The problem I found was that it eventually got just oversaturated.
Sure.
Shops were popping up so quick, and I think a lot of them were kind of mass-produced things, just posing as handmade items, which kind of sucks. So it started. I saw Etsy start to kind of die down, and then once I saw that happen, or even just kind of a lack of growth, when I saw that happen, I thought, well, I need to branch out on my own anyways. Everyone needs a website, I think. So I think I launched the website. Must have been 4 years ago now. So
okay.
I sold on Etsy for a solid year and a half or 2 years, or at least a year, just on Etsy.
Yeah.
before I got my own independent website. But.
Well, I have a web development background, so and that's definitely one of the things. Like, I completely agree. If you're a self-starting business or an entrepreneur of any kind, even if you're branding of yourself, just to even make yourself like let's call it a social influencer of any sort, right?
Sure, yeah.
Having that one place, not using just like your Instagram or your Facebook as something as that platform to host that stuff on, right? If you can make it much more custom and much more of an intimate setting, you can control everything that's there. The look, the feel, the vibe, everything there. And then when it comes down to like what you're marketing, what products you're putting out there, you can decide how you want to view them, what the cart looks like, what all the different page settings look like. It's a little bit more of a push towards being an entrepreneur. So, I mean, it sounds like naturally you kind of had that entrepreneurial spirit with, kind of pushing through, getting Etsy started up to begin with. It was a huge jump for you when you started that.
Sure, yeah.
But to move into the website, what kind of, was your family kind of involved in businesses before? Or where'd you get kind of like your entrepreneur mindset behind pushing the business?
Golly, I don't really know, dude. I've kind of always had it. I remember when I was like 12, I would try to just sell stuff to friends, like not even stuff I made, just random stuff I would try to like flip and sell to friends for more.
Sure.
When you remember those canvas belts that were pretty popular for a while, at least among junior high guys.
Of course.
That age. I bought a bunch from this super cheap thrift store, and I flipped them all for like double the price to all my friends. I remember doing that when I was like 12. So that kind of entrepreneur spirit's kind of always been in me.
You've got the hustle, that's for sure, dude.
Yeah,
that's awesome. As far as looking at your current lineup of wallets that you're carrying, and tell me how many models essentially do you have?
Well, I should have.
And what's your most popular?
So I know my most popular every month.
Finnegan, right?
Is the Finnegan.
I was seeing a bunch, and that's actually going to lead me to my next question. But tell me more about your lineup.
So I kind of split my products into two kind of separate groups. I have a group of products that's pretty traditional. They're kind of standard construction, which I don't want to get too deep into it, but they're pretty basic. I'm not doing anything. I'm not reinventing the wheel with those ones. Those are just kind of there for people who are, if you're switching from a normal bifold, but you don't want to go with some new design, just those are there for you.
Right.
But then I have a line of products that it started with the Finnegan, which is just a pocket, one pocket card holder that has the flap that tucks in. And then, which is a different style of construction because on the side, and I'm going to get a little technical here.
That's fine.
On this, typically, when you're making something leather, you do one piece of leather, glue it together, stitch right through.
Right.
So on the Finnegan, the side seams overlap like this and then get sewn this way, and they don't get glued. So that what that does is basically kind of makes it more of a box, which holds a lot more cards, but it keeps that seam. You don't have to give that 1/4 inch or whatever allowance for the seam.
Sure.
So it makes it a lot thinner. It holds a lot more. So when I came up with the Finnegan, I saw that became popular, the most popular wallet right away.
Yeah.
And then from there, I kind of developed a line of products that are very similar to that. I have the Big Fin, which has a pocket divider on the inside and is a little bigger. The Thin Fin, which eliminates the strap on the front and it just tucks into itself. And then the Cash Fin, which holds a lot more cash than the other models. But I kind of based a whole lineup of products based on that one, the original Finnegan design. And those are the most popular wallets month in, month out.
Well, they're really cool, dude. And the leather, like actual leather products that you're using. I saw something, they're sourced from Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
There's a tannery called Wicket and Craig in Pennsylvania. It was founded in like 1870 something. It's been, there for a while. It's family owned. Everything's done in the U.S. So that's my tannery of choice. And that's what all my standard leather options are. But then I'll do every once in a while. I'll bring in a different leather and do like a special run or like a limited drop, that type of thing. But Wicket and Craig is where I get the normal standard leather options. This
kind of piggybacking on the little leeway we had there before, but when you really launched this stuff, was it kind of a trip to start seeing like people purchasing the product to begin with?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, influencers and YouTubers starting to do reviews the EDC carry and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how did that feel when those started popping up for you?
The YouTube reviews, I think, are the coolest thing because, I mean, Well, so starting the Etsy shop, having your first sale is like unbelievable. Like somebody just got online and just bought something that I made. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then when they start kind of piling up, you start getting a sale every day. You're like, is this ever going to stop? And then, you know, it kind of, every time it goes up though, my mind still gets blown. Like even right now, I'm like, what is my life? You know, I can't believe I get to do this. But the YouTube reviews specifically, it was because you don't really know until you just get on YouTube or like Google your own name, which I do. You know, I Google my own. I just Google Lost Dutchman Leather just to see the reviews and content that are out there. And I can't think of the first YouTube review I saw, but now I go and Google my name, the business name on YouTube, and just see almost a whole page of reviews. It's like, dang, dude, that's.
I was looking up a bunch last night, and you know, they're rave reviews. Everybody's ecstatic. You know, you're talking not only stateside but international for your product. So you've got people from Berlin and Switzerland and wherever else I saw doing reviews on your product. And that's rad, dude. That's super cool.
Yeah. It's wild, man.
It's a pretty nuts thing when you, especially when it's something handmade. So, you know, I'm a web developer, but I've been a musician, and then I've always done graphic arts for like t-shirt companies, right? Yeah. So same aspect, whether it's been a song that people are listening to, whether it be something that I printed that they're wearing and I see it, that's a crazy feeling for me.
Yeah.
And like, I can't even imagine for you. It's like, this is something that it's that tangible product, man. It's like, it's handmade by you. Every person in the world that has one has a connection to you in that way.
Yeah. That's another big thing is when I started shipping orders internationally, and I'm getting orders from Singapore, South Africa, Russia, just everywhere. And it was just crazy to think that right now there's like literally thousands of pieces of my work outside the US that people are carrying and enjoying. It blows me away. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that kind of leads me into this one too. So, you know, you were a young man when you started this as a business. Granted, it started as a complete hobby that, I mean, I'm sure you maybe thought it could be something, but maybe you were just kind of starting it for fun.
Yeah.
But when you think about it now, and let's say to a younger population coming up that shows interest in leather goods or craftsmen of any kind, right? What's your advice? What would you tell someone? What would you tell your 13-year-old self, knowing that you are where you are now? Yeah. What does that look like?
Yeah. If I could tell my 13-year-old self anything, it would have been to focus more on it. I did it on and off throughout, which, I mean, every teenager kind of goes through phases. So I would do it for a couple months, then kind of just find something else. But I'd always come back to leather work. But I wish I would have just focused on it more. I could have started earlier. You know, everybody, I'm sure, says that, but I think if I had focused on it more, taken it a little bit more seriously, but I mean, the path that I took led me to where I'm at, so I can't, you know, I don't know what I would have changed if I had done anything different. But for people starting out, there's kind of this perception, I think, that if you're in art or craft, that you can't make money with it, that it's either pursue your passion and be poor, or, you know, sell out and get a corporate gig, and then, you know, that's the only way to make. But you can combine those things. You can do what you love and be in the arts and crafts and make a living. Right. And I don't think people know that enough, or maybe it's just not taught how to do that. But it's possible. I've done it. Yeah. And if you're interested in doing something like that, get the best you can at it and just put your stuff out there.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Like for me, I mean, you're looking around my office right now, and this has been a good 3-4 years of driving in the whole web development, graphic design, video side of things, right? And doing like interviews for very corporate stuff. So that's a lot of the video background that I've had in the past is very, very corporate, where it's all very cookie cutter. Yeah. Like insert title here, very basic. No real room for creativity, right? Having all of this stuff at my disposal, I'm like, what am I doing? You know, I've got my office is set up exactly like this daily. I check my email on the computer behind me. So it's literally like I come in here every day and I'm completely pumped to try and make stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like that's part of it too, is surround yourself with the people and the things that are going to inspire you to push that forward.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for some people to find something to begin with.
Yeah, that's true.
But once you find it, hold on and invest yourself into it, right?
And another thing I think would be just be patient. It might not be the smartest thing to jump all in right away. You might have to have a period of your life where you're splitting your time between pursuing your passion and then doing the thing that'll pay the bills right now.
Right.
But the goal is to transition to where this gets big enough to where you can drop this, and that's still going to be a jump.
Right.
But, if you pull the boat as close up to the dock as you can before you make that jump, the better off you are.
For sure.
So it's okay to be in a season that that sucks.
Right.
If it's just for a season.
Right.
And you're going to move on eventually, but you got to be patient.
It is patient. Yeah. It's patient and it's embracing discomfort.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like there's a very crude way I say it, but if you're not living with a puckered butthole, you're not doing it right.
That's right.
Which is just a funny way to say it.
Yeah.
But it really is when you're not
living your passion is scary.
It's very scary.
It's, that's why people get the normal jobs and the normal, and that's fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stability there.
Right.
But if you want to really go after your passion, it's going to be scary.
So let me ask you that. So this is your full-time gig now.
Yeah.
This is your living, which is awesome, dude. Yeah. Congratulations on being able to make that full investment and be in that full-time. Prior to being able to make that push, did you have any part-time, full-time jobs prior to that helped you move into that? What were those?
So I worked with a guy, a friend of the family, and a guy that goes to our church that did home renovations. He was a contractor, so we did mostly home renovations, some other stuff. So I worked with him close to full time, and then on kind of weekends I would do leather work. But he was, as a friend, he was he knew that I was trying to pursue this, so he would kind of always check in on what type of time I needed, if I needed more, a couple days off to pursue the leather thing, and then eventually we just kind of transitioned out of that, and that's when I went full time. But yeah, I was working. I was working a lot in that period where I was doing. Construction type work is pretty tiring.
Absolutely.
So I was doing that all day, and then sometimes I would try to bang out a couple orders at night, or just take the weekend and do that. But it was tiring, but it was what had to be done in that time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's cool though that you were still somewhat at least working with your hands. Yeah. In my opinion, that's usually the big drawback for a lot of people that have like some sort of passion, right?
Yeah.
For me, unless I create the position for myself with a company, it's a lot of usual fluff. It's the extras that nobody really thinks about, right? Yeah. And everything that I'm good at is an expensive extra, right? For most companies, right? Yeah. So when you think about it from that perspective, if you're not making your opportunities to change it, you're not going to find it, and that's the thing. So with what you're doing, I did a lot of like telesales, call centers, like all the, the stuff where you just really knock your head against a wall every day, get in your car, do the 1.5-hour commute one way.
Yeah.
Maybe you enjoy listening to a podcast or maybe you enjoy listening to music on that drive to help you kind of like prepare for the mental day ahead of you. But that's a tough stride. Yeah. Now being, I'm a business owner, such as yourself, more on the actual business setup side. So me and a business partner, he's more back end, and then I do a lot of the marketing element to everything. Gotcha, but I worked in bars for a very long time as a bartender in the craft world. And I will tell you that the networking and the talking to people now, instead of doing it behind the bar, I use the social platform. So like we connected, right? It was, I hit you up, I just shot you a DM, and here we are. Yeah. And you know what's the worst thing that happens, right? You say, I'm not interested. Thank you so much. Whatever. Yeah. But I've had more positive feedback and more people that want to be involved than any other outcome. So it's a really, really cool situation to be in right now, because I'm just following kind of a passion. I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time. Mm-hmm. I found a big differentiating thing between podcasts. So when I think about a podcast that I'm actually going to listen to, it's either got to be slightly, comedy forward, funny-ish, whatever, or some sort of informative background of something, right? So, or a little bit of a combination of both, right?
Right.
So for me, this podcast is going to be focusing around really kind of talking to people really that have that entrepreneurial spirit, that are in some sort of creative element or following some sort of passion as like a hobby or whatever else, right?
Yeah.
So on my YouTube channel, I'm starting like a mini doc kind of small session, whatever. They're like 10 to 15 minute episodes that are based on somebody who, for example, the first one that I did is on a friend of mine called Raphael, or his name's Raphael. He's a 911 dispatcher for the fire department.
Okay.
So that's his day job.
Yeah.
But every night on the weekends, any week he's got off or whatever, he's a total rat rod like Harley guy, right? Like rides like his cool chopper everywhere with his friends, and even branching into that world, right? I've met more photographers and more video people that are into that world too, and their work is phenomenal, right? So I've got 2 more guys coming off of that world that'll be really interesting to talk to from a photography perspective. I was looking up on your YouTube. First off, compliments on your thumbnails.
Oh yeah.
Very nicely done. Do you shoot? I mean, I know you probably have a camera at home to be able to do, product photography and whatnot like that. Yeah. Did you always have kind of a camera just lying around, or was that something that you also showed interest in?
Let's see. My brother was always into photography. So I knew a little bit about it just from him. I have another sister who's a photographer. So I knew a little bit about it. And then almost as soon as I opened the shop, I borrowed my brother's camera for the first round of products that I put on Etsy. But after that, I realized that that's an essential thing. I mean, we're talking about any content on Instagram, which now with the new iPhones, you could get away with using those easily.
Yeah, you can for sure.
But at that time, I thought
not. There's a noticeable difference between a good piece of glass and a phone still, to me. For sure. But I mean,
if you're just trying to do, what you can, right, iPhones will do it. But I realized that it would be obviously an investment that paid off. So I bought a Canon 80D, I think 7070.
Nice,
something like that.
Yep.
Almost probably 6 months after I opened the Etsy shop.
Yeah.
So then I just played around with it, did some online classes and like free classes, whatever. And just got good enough just to be able to shoot some content for Instagram and product pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah. I saw, I think, 5 or 6 different like tutorial kind of videos as well on your YouTube channel for Lost Dutchman too. That's awesome. Yeah,
I was getting into the YouTube. It's probably been a year since I even posted a video on there, but it was fun while it lasted. When you're as busy as any business owner is, you kind of have to always balance, what am I going to put? My time is very valuable.
For sure.
What am I going to put it towards? And for me right now, I just felt like the time was doing better work for me when I was putting it towards developing new products, just upping production in general, that type of stuff. So, but yeah, I do have a couple YouTube videos up there.
Yeah, scrolling through your FAQs on your website, it sounded like for a while you were doing like custom orders regularly.
Yeah.
Which, to your sake, I can imagine would have been a little bit of a hassle from time to time, for sure, based on product availability in your shop, meaning, the leathers that you're using, if it's a certain color or whatever.
Right.
So it's like you don't want to get that negative review because someone placed a custom order and then you don't have the colors that they want or something, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of limited that.
Yeah.
You're going to more like ready to ship kind of stuff. So you've got your lineup and you're just creating certain genres or like a few limited edition drops every once in a while type of vibe.
So what I have,
smarter for you.
What I have is I have made to order stuff. So almost all my stuff right now is made to order, but I don't consider that custom. I mean, in a way it is, but I have the 5 leather options that I always keep in stock and then the thread colors, but that's as custom as it gets. But those are the made to order items. And then every like 2 months or so, I'm not as regular with it as I probably should be, but every couple months I drop a batch of ready to ship products. And typically those will be in a kind of a special leather or something. There's something unique about them.
Right.
But then custom stuff, when I say custom, I'm talking about fully custom. Because back when I started, I would take any business I could get.
Sure.
So if a guy if a guy DM'd me and was like, I want a wallet with 2 pockets on the left and then a horizontal pocket on the right, Then on the front, I want that. Like I'd be like, okay, I'll do whatever I have to do.
Right.
So it was kind of a liberating, which, it's kind of fun to do that. Although I was undercharging drastically at the time.
Sure. I bet. But you live and you learn from experiences like that.
Yes, you do. Yeah. So, but it was a kind of a liberating feeling when I could finally say no.
Right.
To some orders, to some requests. So now when I don't do any custom orders really right now. Unless it's somebody I know or whatever.
And to me that makes complete sense because, if you've got the kind of following and the kind of traction that you're getting right now, to do, I could only imagine based on the traffic that you've got going, if you had custom orders available, you would just
even just what I would have to charge,
right,
to make it worth my time.
Right.
Customers, I don't even think if I told them how much I would have to charge, I don't even think customers would.
I don't know, dude. From what it looks like, the reviews are pretty raving on you. Like people really like your work.
Yeah, they are. No, I'm blessed, dude. I got a lot of good reviews. So it's
pretty solid, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk coffee.
Okay.
You came with your Black Rock today. I'm rocking some, I forget what blend it is. It's a Puerto Rican bean. I can't remember the name of the bag we got, but love coffee. Can't start my day without it.
Of course.
I think that's actually the day I reached out to you was the day you posted that picture of your foot in the shot of your shop, waking up with your cup of coffee.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I just commented like, bro, I'm in the same situation because I was sitting in here with my cup of coffee, looking at my Instagram, and I was just like, man. Dude, this is a guy who probably could be on the podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's one of those things I can't live without it. I can't even start my day. I joke that I'm not good for the world without coffee in my system.
You got to have that kickstart. Yeah, I'm a big coffee guy.
Yeah,
I'm a big coffee guy. I got into kind of the craft coffee world probably 4 years ago. Pour over, stuff like that, AeroPress, all that. It's just kind of been a side hobby. It's weird to call coffee a hobby, but
it is though. It totally is. I mean, especially how serious certain people take it. Like down to the gram, right?
Yeah,
and some
that's
people,
me, dude.
That's crazy. That's like I'm not quite there. I'm just a drip coffee guy when I do make it. So we have a good grinder, so I always grind fresh, so it's at least like as fresh as possible. But that is kind of my thing. Is like I'll grind every day. We'll make at least a pot, and I'll have at least 2-3 cups in the morning just to get going. But I mean, that's a part of my morning ritual. So that's one part of this that I always like to talk about with people is like with someone who is as driven as you are, you've got your own business, you've got, quite a few ducks in a row, right? It's that I think people always admire people that say they're in the 5 a.m. club, but to me, that's not necessarily a realistic time for a lot of people based on the evening. And if they like, hanging out with friends, you can't expect to have a life with your homies.
It's not sustainable for a lot of people.
And be going to bed at 9 o'clock every night. Right. So it's not sustainable for the long term for our age demographic. Right. But with that kind of being said, looking at what's your morning routine like? What do you do? You look very fit. I go to the gym every morning. I've been running 4.5 miles a day. For probably the last 10 days. Took a little break in between, but
it's impressive. Yeah.
I'm trying to stay on that, and it's also in conjunction with just like eating cleaner and all that sort of thing, which is part of it. But how do you start your day? I mean, I know you got to at least have a cup, but what does a day start for you?
It's funny you brought up the waking up at 5 a.m. I was just talking to a friend about this because he was like, I really want to start because he was saying he misses his alarm a lot. He really wants to get dialed in and start waking up at 5 a.m. every day. I'm like, well, the most important thing about that is just the consistency.
Right.
Just whatever time it is, just make that the time that you wake up. So I don't wake up. I wake up at 7:30.
Yeah.
I mean, which is, not early by any stretch, but I wake up at 7:30 every day, and I don't. There's no going back to bed, and that was actually a struggle for me for a long time. I'm not a morning person. Mornings suck for me. So getting to the point where I just get up, and that's that. I'm up now. That was a struggle. Part of that, I switched my mindset, and I know this is kind of a rabbit trail, but I switched my mindset from waking up to, and I only bring this up because other people might find this helpful. Rather than thinking about, I'm going to wake up at 7:30 and trying to like muster motivation every night or every morning, which does, try mustering motivation when you're laying in bed and the alarm's going off. It's not easy.
No.
So I switched my mindset from I'm going to do this thing to I'm the guy that just wakes up at 7:30.
Right.
I'm the guy that just wakes up.
Yep.
And when I switched my mindset to not like, Nate, you're going to get this, get up. And I just thought, no, I'm just the guy that gets up at 7:30.
Yep.
And that completely changed it.
Yep.
This is what I do.
I completely agree. I say that about waking up, and I say that about the gym in particular.
Yeah.
Just showing up.
Yeah. You just
literally just show up, because the rest falls in place. And then when you leave the gym, especially when you're kind of referring to the gym, your day is much better.
100%.
Your headspace is much cleaner. I find that I'm less irritated by things. I'm less irritable across the board, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that I know from, facing clients, talking to people, having conversations throughout the day. I know that if it's not going well, it's on their side, not mine.
Right.
Like I know I'm in a place of like Zen with everything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I'm like, I think I just talked to a guy who's an older dude too. He was like late 50s, but he still does jujitsu every day.
Yeah.
Right. So just a badass. Right.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him, and he's the same way. He's like, dude, when I go to the gym, I'm road raging. Everybody get out of my way. I don't want anything to do with everything. And then when he leaves the gym, he's like, go ahead, bro. Everybody it's all right. I'll go around you.
You get out all that energy, man.
It's all that bad juju, man. So it's like, it's showing up and making that effort and putting in that initial like thought behind it, and being direct and positive about your decision behind it. And I think that really does change everything.
Yeah. I didn't mean to derail the question either. Morning routine though.
Yeah.
So I wake up. We didn't even get past the waking up.
Yeah,
I wake up, and then I have a devotion time where I'm reading scripture and praying.
Very cool.
And then I get the pour over, which, like you said, it's so much. People always, when I do pour over and show up, people are always like, why do you take the time to do that? Is it even that much better? It is, number one. But number two, it's just part of the routine. I would say that's 80% of it for me. It's just the routine of you pouring the coffee, or you're pouring the water, you're watching the coffee. It's just a part of my morning thing. It's my ritual. So I make a cup of coffee, and then maybe
it's almost a form of meditation for you at that point.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's because it makes you slow down a little bit, I think.
For sure.
So I brew up some coffee, and then I'm answering emails probably by 8:30 or something. Then I'm probably to the shop by 9:15. And
is your shop close by to home?
It is very close, 2.5 miles or so.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah. And then I actually work out at night. Typically not till 8:30, something like that.
Okay.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So,
okay.
Yeah.
It's a solid schedule.
Yeah.
I that's kind of my thing too, is I think that I became a morning workout person intentionally because I do get that reset on the endorphins for the day.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I always admire the people that are on the 5 a.m. club, but I just am, that's okay. I'll pass for 6, 7, whatever.
Right.
Like today I woke up at maybe 6:30, had my cup of coffee in bed, went straight to the gym, did my 4.5 miles, came home, made my girl some breakfast, made myself something to eat, and got this office set up and ready to go.
Yeah.
And I feel like I got a ton done already, and it's,
right.
fairly early in the day still. I've got a whole afternoon to get the rest of the edit done and all sorts of other things that are cooking, right?
Sure.
So it's just like finding your routine is pretty crazy when you establish it and you set yourself into it. So that's
good
awesome.
to have one though. It's good to have something
necessary.
that you do. Yeah. It just sets you up. I think it kind of projects the rest of the day as if I can make these things go in the order that I want to go in. Right. Then we set up the rest of the day to where I'm going to keep that habit going of just getting done with the things that I'm going to get done.
Right.
So just, a morning routine is great. I chose to work out at night just because of the energy level I have in the morning.
Yeah.
As like I said, I'm not a morning person, so I don't even feel awake till probably 10:30.
That's fair.
So yeah, I work out at night where I feel a little bit more energized. But yeah.
Well, I mean, so as far as, kind of I think you're very fortunate to be doing what started as a hobby for your career now, which is awesome. So now that your career is what it is, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I brew coffee.
Yeah.
And work out.
Yeah.
I like to, on weekend, I've been taking weekends off, which actually didn't start till like later last year. I was working most Saturdays up until like last summer. But after that, I started to dial back weekends. I actually have two guys working for me. So I have one guy that works real low hours and then another guy that works 30 hours a week for me. So once those guys came in, I was able to step back a little bit. So now I'm taking most weekends off. So I like to we go up into Queen Valley and shoot some firearms.
That's cool.
For fun. Stuff like that. Working out is I love working out. So that's kind of my happy place. But honestly, what I do, my hobby and my work are the same thing. So, what's fun for me and what I do are the exact same thing.
That's so awesome.
It's running the business. I find how do I put this? It's work, obviously.
Sure.
It's a job, but it's pretty invigorating for me.
I can imagine.
So especially kind of the business side of it. Right. But I have this cool thing now where I have the business side of it, which can get stressful. I'm making some, marketing decisions, stuff like that. But then I'm going right back to doing the craft.
Right.
Which is a totally zoned out focus. I mean, it's just me. When I'm stitching, I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing. Right. I'm just kind of in a state of zen.
Yeah.
So I get to like transition back and forth between running a business, being a hustler and entrepreneur, and then I'm just stitching for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Just doing nothing, thinking about nothing.
Right.
And so it's really cool to have like both of those in the same career.
Yeah.
To transition back and forth. But yeah, so what I do for fun is also what I do.
Right.
But other than that, hang out with friends.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah.
You said you've got two guys that work for you. Mm-hmm. Are they more involved on the marketing side to help you really kind of push the social accounts and stuff like that? Or are you more involved with that end as well?
So technically, I guess I have 3 guys working for me. 2 are employees. The other guy is a marketing guy that does my Facebook and Instagram ads.
Gotcha.
He's based out of LA. He was actually a customer of mine. He bought like 5 or 6 wallets, I think, before ever talking to me about marketing.
Yeah.
But he reached out, I think it was summer of 2019 probably, and just was asking about what I did for marketing, if I had ever tried Facebook ads or anything. And then he offered to do a month. He wouldn't take anything, just do a month just to show me what could be done if we started running some ads.
Sure.
And that just blew me away.
Yeah.
I mean, we had great results that first month. So we've been working together ever since then. So that's who does my Facebook ads. He doesn't do my social media. I still handle all that because I feel like I've built a Instagram voice to where it's me talking.
Right.
So I'm really hesitant to give that up because people feel like I'm talking to them when I'm on Instagram. So I think I'm going to hold on to that for a while at least.
Well, I mean, I'll compliment, the ad space that's happening and the way that you're running your social. It's pretty seamless. Okay. Like your voice is consistent. Even your ads seem like it's a very personalized.
We make an
touch.
effort to do that. Yeah.
It's well done. Yeah.
Appreciate
as far as that goes. Yeah. I've been following you for, I don't know, 2 years on Instagram at least. And just watching you. And it's funny because I'll always check the account and I'll see how you can always kind of see like other friends that you're associated with, right? That like if they started following somebody.
Yeah.
And almost everybody that I know follows your account.
Really?
So from a craftsman experience and the network that you've, created, I think the whole Arizona local, especially out of Mesa, I think Masonians in general are proud.
Sure.
I guess, or I at least, I went to Mendoza Elementary. Shepherd Junior High at Red Mountain High School.
Okay.
Right. So I've been in Mesa my entire life.
Yeah.
Right. And specifically the Alta Mesa area.
Yeah.
So that being said, I mean, I feel like the people that I went to school with, yes, you've got a couple that kind of went their own direction and traveled and now they're in different parts of the country or whatever. But there's a good probably 50% of people I went to school with
that are still
in Mesa.
Got you.
And they are ride or die for it.
That's actually why I chose the brand name. So when I started my Etsy shop, I was called Gruffwood Studios.
Okay.
And what is the meaning of that name?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. I just came up with it.
Yeah.
I thought it sounded cool. So, but it had no meaning. It was, I don't know what I was thinking. But that was the name I came up with. When we moved here in 2016.
From Ohio?
From Ohio. Toledo, Ohio, yep. Or maybe 2017. And when we got here, I really wanted to change my whole brand to something that reflected where I was at.
Right.
So that's why I chose the Lost Dutchman leather name. And it has been super helpful to have something recognizable like that. For like when we run local ads, they perform way better because people see that, 100%. They know it's a local place. And that's been cool.
I think it was a smart move. The only thing I chuckle about is your actual logo. For you being such a clean shaven young dude, your primary logo is a big old burly bearded dude, which is rad though. I love it.
Yeah, people so I didn't post like my face on Instagram for a pretty long time,
right?
And like whenever I would do that, people would be like, "Wait, what? I thought you were the guy in the logo." I'm like, nah, that's the Lost Dutchman. That's the Dutchman himself.
Yeah.
But that's been brought up a couple
That's
times.
so funny. I do think that's probably one of my favorite touches is your stamp, I guess, that you put into the wallets. That look and that quality is really nice, dude.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm very impressed with your products. Like two of my friends actually have your wallets. I've felt them. I've held them.
Yeah.
I've never purchased one yet, so I'm going to have to hit you up. Yeah, I'm going to have to do it now. But for a lot of times too, I'm the minimalist EDC guy.
Yeah.
Right. So I probably at most I'm 3 cards and a little cash.
Yeah.
Right. So that's always been my headache is finding something that actually adapts to that.
Right. Right.
So, and people that I follow, it's pretty crazy, the EDC thing on YouTube once you get into that rabbit hole between pocket knives and wallets and whatever else, right? Little flashlights.
It's funny how many little niches there are that you never even knew would have existed.
Well, that's the thing is last night when I was looking up Lost Dutchman on YouTube, the list of videos is pretty vast.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's dudes doing EDC. It's dudes doing wallet reviews. I didn't even know there were channels dedicated to just wallets.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty crazy niche. But dude, you're in it and you're striving, it seems like.
Yeah, we're doing well, man. I'm so blessed to be where I'm at. I can't stress that enough. Like, every morning I wake up and think, what on earth? Like, how is this possible?
Right.
I can't comprehend it sometimes, but you just make the best of the opportunities that are given to you.
Totally.
And try to capitalize on that. But yeah, I live my dream, man. It's pretty incredible. Yeah.
What's next for you?
What is next for me? Well, I have a new wallet launching next week. So that's awesome. Immediately what's next.
Yeah.
But in the long term, I'm gonna stick with this business. I mean, I don't see myself parting from the Lost Dutchman brand anytime in the near future.
Right.
As far as products, like I've been thinking about going into something bigger, like having some bags done.
Yeah.
Maybe doing some outsourcing for that. There's changes like that we can make. But right now, the business model we have going on right now, I don't want to mess it up by trying to change it.
I really do. It's impressive what you're doing right now, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. What else, where can we find you? Let's break down like your handles, website. Where can we find you?
All right. Well, it's lostdutchmanleather.com to view all of my products and whatever else is on the website. And my Instagram handle is @lostdutchmanleather.
Yeah, there you go.
And I have a YouTube channel if you want to go check that out. That's Lost Dutchman Leather, I assume. I haven't been on my YouTube channel for...
I checked it last night, and I think you're dead accurate with... it was probably a year since you posted anything new, but you've got 5 or 6 breakdown, almost step-by-step almost tutorial like videos as far as, constructing the different kinds of wallets and whatnot. Which I found really fascinating.
Yeah, if you want to take a look at kind of what leatherwork is, those are good videos to watch. Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll have to collaborate on something in that.
Maybe, man. Too. That'd be sick. Yeah.
Yeah. Get some sweet slow-mo.
There we go.
Yeah. That'd be always up my alley.
That would be awesome.
Dude, I really appreciate you coming on. This is, again, I'm going to start airing these at least once a week.
Yeah.
We'll kind of build it out, but launching a podcast for myself and starting to talk to cool people like yourself and starting to make the relationships and it's just going to grow from here.
It's very cool, man. You got a cool setup here. You're very good. You're very good at hosting a podcast. I mean, for how many podcasts have you done?
I have one that I have participated in with my other business partner, which we're actually rebranding that one because it was so the company for me is zendevco.com.
Okay.
And so Zendev, kind of more or less Zen, but the development side of a business, right? So we had the Zendev podcast. It was like a happy hour kind of vibe. Okay. So we would crack a beer, whatever, sit across and whatever.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at him and from a branding perspective and from the way that I'm living my life as far as being a little bit cleaner, a little bit healthier, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was in craft beer for a very long time. So it was kind of like time to almost break away from that, in my opinion. So I've been looking at him and saying, it's a little off brand.
Right.
Our name is Zendev and we're cracking beers talking about, the week's wins or whatever. Sure, right. Yeah. So we're reconfiguring that, but I've been doing that one and I've appeared on maybe 2 or 3 other podcasts over the last 2 years, but building this out and getting kind of things set. Now it's just like everybody is welcome to just come in and chat and break down a conversation and the kind of focus of the channel. And this is kind of the way that I'm running the mini docs, but it's kind of the way that I'm just looking at everything for the YouTube presence and Instagram and everything for that. But it's cool people doing cool things that support good causes.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Right. So it's always a little bit more of a positive edge because in my opinion, a lot of the podcasts and a lot of like different stuff that's out there can have a very negative spin.
Yeah. Sure.
And I'm just trying to bring like good vibes and, cool people and make people aware. So if I can, add a fraction of people that are like never heard of Lost Dutchman leather and all of a sudden you got a couple more, people that are buying wallets, that's my goal. So
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome, dude. Nate, I really appreciate you coming on. We'll stay in touch and hopefully have you back on soon.
That'd be awesome, dude. I appreciate it, dude. This was fun. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. We'll see you next time. All right.
Yes, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you like this podcast, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, follow on Anchor and Spotify, and don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. That's Mikey Z TV. Again, I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode.